You're my guest.
Where are the others?
You mean the murderers, traitors, and thieves you call friends?
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Greg Lester, and this is the Game Audio Analysis tutorial series. Today we'll be recreating Kylo Ren's voice. Kylo's mask, unlike Darth Vader's, is solely for intimidation purposes. And this was not only translated in the sound design itself, but also in the mix, because his voice is a little bit louder than everyone else's, and it really sounds incredibly close up, almost as if it was coming from inside of your head. So, I'm going to try my best to come as close as I can to the original, but I'll definitely add my own flavor to it. Let's jump right into it. I did some research, and the Nerdist did an interview with David Acorn and Matthew Wood, the sound designers of Star Wars The Force Awakens, which shined some light on the creative process but not the technical aspects, like what gear or plugins they use to actually affect Adam Drive's voice. So I will have to do some guesswork myself. What I did find out though is that initially they took the recording of Kylo's voice and processed it with plugins, but it didn't have the desired effect. So they set up an effect chain which the mic would run through, which allowed Adam to actually hear how his voice was being affected while he was performing. This was ideal because Adam likes to method act, and so he went up really close to the mic and used it like an instrument. The plugin effect chain in turn reacted differently depending on how he was performing his lines. Plugins and mics. My best guess is that they recorded his voice with a large diaphragm condenser microphone to capture a detailed, articulated, and clear sound. They then pitched it down a couple of semitones and processed it with EQ in order to make it sound more handheld radio-like. And then they added some distortion to the mid and high frequencies, possibly with a plugin called Saturn, which is from FabFilter and essentially is a multiband saturation plugin. They most likely also used a multiband compression plugin to bring out some more detail in the mid and high frequencies and tighten up the lows. So now to the creation of the sound. In order to reverse engineer the voice, I split it into 3 different layers: bass, mid, and treble. This gives me more control over each one, and I'm able to process and affect each one individually. The first thing I did is pitch all the files down by 5 semitones, so we get this as a result.
The call to the light. Supreme Leader senses it.
Next up, I got rid of all the high frequencies in the low end, as well as take out anything below 30 Hz. Then I added a vocoder, which adds some extra harmonics to the low end, and lastly a compressor, which just slightly squeezes the sound and adds a little bit of amplitude. The mids are heavily processed with EQ, where I tried to boost and cut certain frequencies that sounded interesting. Then I added a plugin, which is called Squeeze, which kind of filters and clips the sound slightly. After that, there is a sound goodizer. This just adds some more compression and brightness. And guitar rig. This is what really gives it the tone and the voice of being played through an amplifier, since we are running it through an emulation of one. Then we've got distortion, 3 more EQs, some multiband compression, and a limiter, just to make it a little bit louder.
The call to the light. Supreme Leader senses it.
The high end has a similar processing chain to the mids, with the main difference being that more high frequency content is being boosted by the EQ, as well as different settings in the guitar rig plugin. And I added a dimension expander, which widens the stereo image to make it sound more like it's coming from inside the listener's head.
The call to the light. Supreme Leader senses it. The map to Skywalker. We know you found it. And now you're gonna give it to the First Order.
Our mastering chain is quite simple and straightforward, with some multiband compression boosting all the frequencies and just tightening it up a little bit. Then an EQ where I applied an EQ match on the original voice file of Kylo Ren, and it gave me this beautiful piece of art. The signal then proceeds to go through a compressor and a limiter, which just boosts the original signal and amplify the detail of the sound. And voila, this is how it would sound like if I were Kylo Ren.
The call to the light. Supreme Leader senses it. The map to Skywalker. We know you found it. And now you're gonna give it to the First Order. Kylo Ren.
Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun creating this video, and if you want to support me, then please check out my Patreon where you can get some cool perks like a personalized theme tune and behind the scenes videos for the price of a cup of coffee per month. See you next time and have a great day.